Hi, I'm here from Aunt Em's Quilts and Em's Scrap Bag, and today I have Ruth Davis with me from Ruthie Quilt's Long Arm Quilting Services. And we're going to show you how to some various ways that you can quilt my bushel and a peck quilt. Remember, if you like my videos, to like and subscribe. Thanks! Let's get started.
Hi everyone. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little bit easier pattern first. I have a tendency to like feathers, and most everything I have has feathers all over it. But we'll start with something besides feathers, just for a little change of pace. First of all, on the X block, we're going to start here at the center, and we're going to come up here and do an orange pill. From the orange pill, we're going to just do a little half swirly up into this side, come back down, and then a half swirly up into this side, and come back down. Now from here, I haven't lifted my needle. You see me bouncing all over the place, but I quilt much better than I draw. So now I'm going to take and come up here, and then I'm going to do another orange pill here. And then here, I'm just going to do a little swirly, a little daisy loop, come up to the point, and then I'm going to come back. Now I've gotten to this point, so at this point I'm going to do another little half heart and another little half heart. Here we go. We're going to come up here. Everything with quilting is following a quilt path, and I have to stop and think about it because I don't want to have to start and stop. When I do a block, I want it to be all in one piece. Okay, so I'm going to come here. Now I'm going to do my little curly Q loop. Next block.
Her quilting is amazing. If you want to check her out on Facebook, look at Ruthie Quilts, and you can see the amazing things she does. I'm a quick and dirty quilter. She does show stuff.
Okay, on this other block, what I want to do, for this block, I'm quilting obviously each block custom. So on this block, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little dashed line. If I were quilting this on a quilt, I'd just do this with chalk, just so I know where I'm quilting. So I'm going to do my little half heart again, and then when I get here, I'm going to take and do, I'm going to come here. Now this is being quilted as a square, because this one was quilted as a square. This little point has been quilted in, so I'm not going to come and quilt in this. I'm going to go backwards and forwards and just come along like this. And when I get to the corner, I'm going to bring this like this. Okay, now if you noticed, I forgot to quilt back up into my square. So I'm going to come here, and when I go to do my square lines again, I like linear quilting, I'm going to then catch my little heart, half heart here, and then I'm going to continue on doing my line quilting across. Now with design, you want to put curves and straight lines together. The juxtaposition of this straight line next to that curve really makes for a really classic pattern. And with design, you kind of want to use things that are opposites of each other next to each other, just because it makes it look nicer. And that's how I would quilt that part of the quilt. Now while I'm here, if you can see, I did swirlies here. Even though the hearts are their hearts, I used a swirly. So in this little border, I'm going to do a swirly pattern, and I'm going to come up part way. I'm going to come down and do another swirly, and then I'm going to do a swirly. So that's how I would quilt this border. A lot of what I do when I figure out what I'm going to custom quilt is I look how wide my borders are, and I go, okay, what can I do that would look nice in that border? Now, if you look, this shape that we've made here is almost like a leaf. It looks almost like a holly leaf or something. So here, I'm going to bring in again the swirly, but I'm going to go in more. And then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to do kind of that same pattern that we had in the leaves. And here I can do this. And then I'm going to continue big swirly. Again, it's much better that I can quilt better than I can draw. Okay, so that's kind of how we were going to do for that one. Okay, for this one, we're again going to start with the X blocks. We're going to start in the center. And I think what I'm going to do, there's several different ways to do feathers, But I'm going to do a bounce back, and I'm going to go from side to side to side to side up to the top. That way when I get up to the top, I can follow my stem down and then continue on for the next one.
Can I ask you a question, Ruth?
Sure.
So I usually will do like with chalk my vine, so I kind of know this is kind of a short space, but when I do a feather, I do in chalk my vine. Even if I'm not using the vein, then I just know where I'm coming back to every time.
And I actually, especially if it's something I'm doing for show, I absolutely do that. This is marking with chalk. So if I wanted to do a real pretty feather, that's what I do. I just draw, and I have rulers that I use that I will draw out my veins, especially if I'm doing something I want to look similar from part to part. But I'm going to start here in the center, and I'm going to go feather. Okay, so I came up here, I came back down here. Now I'm going to come to the side, and I'm going to do one on that side, and I'm going to come again in that same place, bounce back across that one. Now I'm going to tell you, even on my show quilts, I cannot stay exactly on that line. I do the best I can. I'm going to continue on up to the top, and I'm going to fill up that space, and then I'm going to follow my stem. Let's come down to this one here. So can I use that blue marker again?
Yep, here you go.
Okay, so for this one, with my chalk, I'm going to mark, and this is just so I have an idea of where to quilt. I want to kind of keep my feathers for the center part in that section. So I'm going to start on any corner, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do a great big feather, keeping it in that triangle. Then I'm going to come and do another bounce back feather, follow that same line, and it's going to be like that. Now, when I did a practice run, I started in the same corner and did another one. That didn't work for me. So here I want to take and do, and I use a ruler for this. When I go, what's it called? Stitch in the ditch. When I stitch in the ditch, I want to stay one side or the other of the line. I don't want to go back and forth because it just looks messy. So now I'm going to come feather into the center. Now, because I have gone all the way around those other three sides, I'm just going to bring that back to the beginning just to make it look consistent. Now, on the last time I did this pattern, I did straight lines. This time I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to vary it a little bit. What I'm going to do here is everywhere I have a triangle, I am going to carry my straight lines through the triangle. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to actually just follow that. And again, you're doing curves against straight lines. I have learned from people who do this professionally and teach nationally and stuff that you can do straight lines towards you and away from you and side to side. Side to side is more on a long arm. I wouldn't do it on your domestic. But if you're doing something at an angle, you really need to use a ruler. So here I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to, take this same design up here. When I do heavy, dense quilting like the linear quilting here, especially if I do it, say, up here along a line like this, that almost pulls in the way the cuff on a sweater would. Okay, here you do the swirly and do again your shape there, your feather shape. And again, and just continue on. I just want to show you how you want to kind of sort of tie things together when you do designing side. I love a lot of straight line quilting. To me, it's a very classic look, and especially paired with feathers, it's amazing.
And I find that it's easy because you can just use your presser foot as a guide to go up and down, so it's easy to keep them even and together. Now, like I said, I'm quick and dirty, and I'm not as good as Ruth. She's a show quilter, and I'm just get it done quilter. What I've done on this quilt when I've done it is I've just done, what do you call this, Ruth? Where I go like this, and then I swirl through. It's kind of a leaf.
Kind of a leaf.
And I just do this all the way through the quilt. I did leaves in here in kind of a chain. I don't know if I can do this with the marker.
The marker's a little more on.
So that's what I did. And in here, I don't even remember. Maybe I did this. And then I just boxed it in. And that's what I did. Nothing as complicated as Ruth because she knows what she's doing and I'm just getting the quilt done. All right, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.